Hey, what's going on, Pokemon trainers? Trainer Connor 100 here, and today I'm about to play Season 34 of Pokemon Online Regulation J. This season allows us to bring some, if not all, legendary Pokemon as well as usual suspects like Paradox Pokemon and more. These battles are primarily for VGC, but this time around they are letting us battle it out in a singles battle format, which is very nice. In this competition, we are going to be using Defensive Arceus Fire, Focus Sash League Shampoo, Booster Energy Iron Valiant, Take Heart Manaphy, Defensive Amoonguss, and a Choice Banded Dragonite. Let's see how we do. Alright, trainers, here we go. The first battle out of 3, my opponent leads that with a Talonflame, which naturally, of course, it has Gale Wings as a priority up until it reaches a certain HP level. I lead that with Iron Valiant, and I use Destiny Bond here, which that's not a great way to start. But don't worry, we're going to rebound. I think I forgot about Gale Wings, but fortunately Talonflame went for Tailwind there. Expecting a Brave Bird now, we're switching to Dragonite, who takes the hit really well. We all know that Brave Bird does do recoil damage to the Talonflame, not a problem. He switches it up and goes for U-turn, gets a critical hit, which is pretty funny. Although, Outrage is free here, it is a choice banded Dragonite, so whoever comes in is going to take a hurting from this move. In this case, it's going to be Ho-Oh here, which I like Ho-Oh, but man, he takes a lot of damage. We see my opponent going for Terra Flying here, which I really don't want to switch out of here. So we're leaving in Dragonite to take the hit. This way I can bring in my Manaphy for free. And then we can revenge kill it with an Ice Beam or a Surf if we have to. So good job, Dragonite. You did so much work in this Regulation J tournament, which, by the way, I'm having a lot of fun in this. I am 5-3 now, which is pretty awesome. I need to do better, though. Anyways, Manaphy here has Terra Fire. And we're going to go for Ice Beam, in case he wants to switch out randomly. I know Ho-Ohs can carry Regenerator. I believe that's the hidden ability. I could be wrong, but I know they have that ability. So he can go for that safe Ice Beam if he wants to switch in. Reserve that Ho-Oh. Next up he has Ogerpon. And Ogerpon is faster, so he goes for Rock Tomb. Now, you don't typically see Rock Tomb on Ogerpon. At least I don't, anyway. Maybe you do. I don't see enough Ogerpons with Rock Tombs, but it works out here. We do have a Citrus Berry on this Manaphy set, which means that we'll be recovering a little bit more HP there. I am free to go for Ice Beam here, and I did go for Acid Armor also, which is an underrated move. It raises your defenses, so the next Pokemon that comes out will have to deal with that raise. So yeah, we're gonna keep going for Ice Beams and Surfs until we knock out Ogerpon. I managed to get a critical hit on the Surf that I went for. We'll take it for sure. Absolutely. It is Stab after all, because Ice Beam isn't. Now we have to deal with Talonflame, and at that range of HP, yeah, we're gonna sacrifice Manaphy. So Manaphy, so far so good. We have to use Take Heart though, that's the move that I want to try using, and you'll see it. I am scared about Talonflame though, and it feels like I could lose the game here because, of course, Talonflame's Brave Bird priority. However, I outspeed, I go for a knockoff. I just go for it randomly because I knew a Brave Bird will kill me. He goes for Taunt. What the heck? So we win the game there. Alright, well, we'll take it. Go for another knockoff. We knock out Talonflame there. Now we can head over to the next battle here. So great job, Iron Valiant. Here we go for the next one. And in this one, I actually use Amoonguss to his full potential in this battle. Wait till you see it. Now, my opponent leads out with a Flutter Mane. And typically, when you see a Flutter Mane leading out like that, they have Taunt. I wanted to see it though to confirm it, and I go for Stun Spore, trying to paralyze the Flutter Mane. That doesn't happen. He does paralyze me, which Amoonguss, he is a boss. He doesn't get paralyzed at all in this battle. Isn't that amazing? Now we do see that combination with Hetz. It does a lot of damage. And I'm trying to go for sludge bombs here. That is my alternative, but I don't get the poison. That's my workaround when you have Kant on your side. So we're going to be switching out, and we get to use Arceus Fire for the first time in this tournament. It is a defensive build with Will-O-Wisp and Recover, Judgment, and Calm Mind. So it's a little bit weird. I like it though. I end up switching out again because I am expecting the Fluttermane to go for Taunt again, expecting, I guess, Will-O-Wisp or Calm Mind. But this Fluttermane went for Thunder Wave first and then he goes for Taunt again. I expected that. We go for Sludge Bomb again, trying to poison it. Man, this Fluttermane is annoying. But he goes for Hex, and I know I can live it, minus a critical hit, go for another Sludge Bomb, and we finally get the poison off. This means that we're going to knock out Fluttermane. So you see, Amogus doing some major work in this game. I love it. You guys have to use Amogus more. It's so underrated. Anyways though, with that said, we do have to deal with a Xianpao, which by the way, it went back to Uber. It used to be an OU, but now it's in Uber like the rest of the legendary Pokemon. I expected Icicle Crash, so we go back into Arceus Fire, who I know can live it, and then he shows me Sheer Cold. Are you serious right now, man? Because I was gonna go for a Will-O-Wisp to burn it, but we never get a chance to do that now. Gosh darn it. What can you do about that, though? That's fine. We go into Manaphy. We have to play this game of, can we survive a hit? So I just took the opportunity. I'm like, what the hell? Let's just go for the K-Cart and just see what we can do. Manaphy is able to dodge these sheer colds coming her way. We go for a Surf. And Xianpao has a Focus Sash, which is to be expected. It's the common item on these guys. Manaphy, you're the GOAT. You managed to survive through those sheer colds. Get that thing out of my sight. We knock out Xianpao. That is not cool, man, bringing a one-hit KO move to a tournament like that. But anyways, we see his last Pokemon being Arceus, and I was worried. Usually when you see a normal type Arceus, it's the Sword Dance Extreme Speed set. So we go for Kara's Fire. We do see Extreme Speed. I go for that +1/+2 boosted Surf. It's not doing enough damage, and we see Earthquake. Unfortunately. But we survive it. And we have the Citrus Berry. We'll restore more HP, then we go for another Surf at Revenge Kill Point, pretty much. That way, if I have to bring in another Pokemon, we can easily knock it out. But he has a Citrus Berry of his own, and then he goes for his own Kara. I wasn't sure what Kara it would be. It looks to be ground, so that means Earthquake will Revenge Kill me instead, and that's okay, because I know I have Amogus in the back. So the typing matchup is there. I'm really sorry, Manaphy. I mean, you did really well in this battle. We managed to use K-Cart and everything, so it's all good. I go into Amogus again. He goes for Healing Wish. And I'm not really sure why. I go for Spore just in case it had Recover. We'll put the Arceus to sleep and then Giga Drain our way to victory. At this point, my opponent realizes that he can't hit me very hard, so he decides to forfeit. And I don't blame him. I mean, Extreme Speed won't do anything. Earthquake won't do anything. Amogus is awesome like that, so I'm really happy I brought the Pokemon that I did. But I will say, the Sheer Cold shenanigans, definitely not what I was expecting, but it's alright. So here we go. This is the third battle. I get a chance to use my shiny Xianpao here, which is looking like one of my favorite shinies in Generation 9. Absolutely. Now, my opponent begins with a freaking Zacian, going for a Behemoth Blade, but the Focus Sash will allow us to survive the hit, and we go for Sacred Sword. We get a critical hit, which always helps. Now, I expected Zacian to go for another Behemoth Blade, right? But he switches it up and goes for a Sacred Sword. I'm not sure if he predicted that. If he did, props to you, sir. That was one hell of a prediction. I go for a cover with Arceus Fire. I wasn't sure who he would switch into. He shows me Gardevoir, and he has Purifying Assault, so I can't burn it. I completely forgot about it. As a consequence, for going for that move there, I am going to get trapped in here by the Salt Cure. That's okay though, because I have access to Recover to offset the damage, and I have access to Calm Mind, which we go for right here. If I set up enough, I may be able to knock out Gardevoir. It's very likely that it has access to Recover. That's another thing to consider, but if we can play our cards right, we can maybe get out of here unscathed. We'll see how it goes. But he goes for another Iron Defense. He's probably gonna go for the Body Press, which will do a ton of damage. The more times that you use Body Press, or I guess Iron Defense first, the more times you use that move, then the more damage Body Press will do. There we go. And so you see how much damage the Judgment Fire does. It's not going to do enough damage, unfortunately. So you see, Body Press. Well, first off, let's go for Judgment. We almost knock it out. And I'm like, alright, cool. He's gonna go for a cover? No, he actually goes for Body Press. And we almost get knocked out, but then it's like, oh yeah, the Soul Cure, so it's fine. I actually brought my Iron Valiant in the back to revenge kill it, because we have to deal with not only Gardevoir, but the Zacian as well, and then I think there's one more Pokemon that we're forgetting about. It hasn't arrived yet. So we get the Quark Drive activated, and I go for close combat, but the connection dropped. So therefore, I lose the battle for some reason. Don't ask me how. But that was a lot of fun. That's your Regulation Set J, the last Wi-Fi competition. At least for singles, anyway, for Scarlet and Violet. If y'all enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, trainers.